If you freed up 20, 30, 40% of that by removing one thing within that drawer, that's something large, you've just now freed up space for the universe to give you more of what you're manifesting and desiring today versus that item in your home taking up that space that's not only not serving you, but also weighing down your endeavors.
Hey, everybody. We've had some of the most incredible guests coming to you these past couple of months. The amount of expertise and knowledge on these cutting edge topics is something we really hope that you enjoy. And if you do, it would make a huge difference to us if you could rate, review, and subscribe the podcast. It helps us to get more guests, better experts, and talk about all of the things that are really important to you. So give us a love, give us a lot of love, and don't forget to subscribe so you get all our new episodes. Welcome back to the Thick Thighs Save Lives podcast, everybody. This week is a unique one in that I have a really special guest that I think you are going to absolutely love and draw so much new and powerful information about your surroundings and how important they are to your health. So, this week we have Meena Jagpal-Paré, and she is a classical feng shui master. She is also an energy clearing guide and the founder of Momentum Feng Shui. She integrates traditional feng shui with spiritual practices to help clients worldwide transform their spaces and elevate their lives. You use energy maps to flow the homes and workspaces that you work with in a way that enhances positivity and neutralizes obstacles. I think what you're offering in peace, health, and abundance in your surroundings is just what everybody is hoping to gain. So, welcome to the show, Meena, and thank you for being with us.
Thank you, Rachel. Any opportunity I get to spread the word on feng shui and energy, I'm all in, and I'm very grateful for this opportunity.
Well, we are really grateful to. I always do the
Mhm.
me. It's not me and all my personalities. I usually do this podcast with my sister, so
Mhm.
I'm still stuck in the week. She's on maternity leave right now, and she, in designing her room for her new baby, kept a lot of those practices in mind and was looking at a lot of. So I know she's going to be super excited to hear this episode as well. But why I'm excited to share this with our audience is, we're a health and fitness podcast, and we focus so much on whole health of the individual. There is no physical health without mental health, and vice versa. And I think that when we look at health, often our surroundings are one of the last things that we're considering when we think about spiritual, mental, physical health. And I really am excited to have you bust that up a little bit and share with our audience the importance of what is surrounding you on a day to day basis on your health.
Mhm. Yes, as human beings, we're focused on what we see, where we're at, and what we can improve, and that's a beautiful journey to be on. Having said that, the good old saying of "we only know what we know," we only see what we see, and we have all the endeavors and goals we set, which is great strategy. This is where it starts with our intention, but we're not aware of the energy that is either supporting us or holding us back in our surroundings. So the example I'll give you is, somebody could be working with a therapist, a psychologist, a personal trainer, a dietitian, many other levels, some doing their PhD, their thesis. That's great. Those are our endeavors that we take on and we do our best. For the most part, a lot of us succeed. But what about the energy that's in the space that we're not aware of? That's what I'm on a mission to spread the word on. It is very doable. Even in North America, it's all really up to us. And I always say that if I could show my clients or anybody that's curious about, okay, every space is filled 100% with energy, by the way. Whether it's your home, your room, the drawer, your car, it doesn't matter. Every area is always filled with 100% energy. And these are the things we're not focused on because, again, we don't see it. How much of that energy is supporting us and how much of it is heavy that we're not aware of? And I always say my job would be so much easier, my mission would be so much easier if I could just show them, look, 53% is heavy, let's bring it down slowly to pretty much, all of it neutralized. But it's not seen, it's felt.
And I think we really all can agree universally that you can feel the energy in a space. I don't think that anyone would argue that there is like a natural flow. Like there's a vibe, right? When you walk into a space, you get a feeling. And although I don't really think that's disputed, that's kind of where our knowledge on that starts and ends, is that there is a vibe, but we don't really know how to control it or what made it like that. And we feel sort of victims to the vibe. And what I love about your practice is that you put us in the driver's seat and in control of the vibes. And I'm here for that.
Yes, it all starts with awareness. It is nothing is complicating. Nothing is complicating, and I call it. I've given it a name, an energetic dance. Somebody has to take that first step. So we get a nudge from energy, or we know somebody else that's familiar with the energies and how to shift it using the feng shui modality, and we take that first step. We either connect with somebody or we go online and we clear a little bit. Energy appreciates it, it serves us back. And all of a sudden, we wake up next day, next week, and we're more motivated. And energy appreciates that. And then it takes another step forward in our life journey, in the quality of our life. And it's a beautiful flow. But I always say somebody has to take that first step.
I love that. So, if you could give us a baseline, in your opinion, how much do our physical surroundings affect our mental well being and our overall health? Like, do you feel most people are underestimating the effect of their surroundings? And what can we do to sort of make this more top of mind?
I wouldn't say underestimating as in not being respect to it or not giving it the respect that's due. I feel it is just the awareness, and that's my mission. That's my mission. I gave up my previous career. This is what I do. I'm in my 60s, and for me, it is all about awareness in the world. And I always say one household, one person at a time. I'll share something simple with you. Two things actually, very quickly. One is one of my clients sent a message to me. I wake up to beautiful messages, by the way, from around the world because I have global clients, and then like yourself, some are on the East Coast, I'm on the West Coast, so you're 3 hours ahead. And I wake up to beautiful messages. That's a blessing on its own. That starts my day. So one of the clients shared with me that she had a person come to her house who was very much in tune with energy, maybe a Reiki practitioner or something similar, and but didn't know that my client had her house feng shuied with me. And this was in Netherlands, outside of Amsterdam somewhere. I do virtual consultations, and she walked in and she said, "The space in your home feels so different than the last time I was here 6 months ago. What did you do?" And she had no clue that my client, I'm getting a download just sharing this. I get very passionate. And the other one was just last week. I got a discovery call. We spoke, and I always ask, "How did you hear about me?" And she said she went to a spa here locally. And she went to a spa where I had done the feng shui last year, the spa and the spa owner's home, because there's a career sector in our home And then, of course, we do the business if the person is being called to do so. She said she walked into the spa, and she apparently goes once a year there for her treatments. And she said, again, the energy felt so much different, so calm, grounding, neutral. She asked the spa owner, and the spa owner recommended me. And that's how she said, I want the same thing for my home. So again, it's not seen. This is what I'm getting at. It's felt.
That's so
Yeah.
important. And just those were amazing stories. I'm really glad that you are able to share your passion in this way. And you mentioned, leaving your career and taking this on full time. Can you tell us a little bit about your personal backstory and why feng shui? What led you to this place that you are at?
Yeah, we're exactly where we're meant to be. We just have to do our part. I truly, truly believe that. So, to make this 60-year story short, I am Indian background. I grew up here in Canada, and I grew up in a very spiritual family. I was close to my father, and I was a flight attendant for 20 years. So I would be away for a week at a time. I'd come home, have tea with my father, and share my feng shui fascination, which started with my youngest when he was born. He's 28 now. I stumbled across a coffee table book. I don't know. I still to this day don't know where I got it from. We didn't have chapters back then, and we didn't turn to Google when we were curious. So somehow it was meant to be. And I lost my father 9 years ago, and I truly feel to this day that he's my guiding spirit that said, okay, Meena, enough talking about feng shui. You need to take it to the next level. All of a sudden, I got curious as to feng shui. What exactly is it? I started to search online and realized that just like meditation, yoga, Reiki, Ayurveda, there's traditional modalities that started in the East and somehow got diluted over time. And the Indian in me, it just wouldn't allow me to take any shortcut simplified where the backhand is this or the right is this. I needed to get to the core of it, which is classical feng shui. So I sourced out the International School of Feng Shui from Ireland. They had an in person training in San Diego. I went there, completed my training. Then I got one of the instructors to create a practicum for me. I'm very hands on. And so we did 5 different types of feng shui in Virginia Beach. A house with a pool. Water energy is very different. Being in Florida, you're probably more aware of it as well. And a home with 2 offices, an office in an office building, and a unit in a strip mall. Very different feng shui. The difference in classical feng shui is it's precise. It's not the west is this or the south is this. It is precise with the compass reading. Where is the energy entering from? 212.1, 157.4. Where is it entering from? What year was the dwelling born? What is the square footage? All that happens behind the scenes in my office. My delivery is very simple. I keep it interactive. We have lots of fun. It's never dry and boring. But behind the scenes, there's very precise calculations. When I did all that, I thought, okay, I'm done. I was still flying. The bills had to be paid. This was my passion. I was doing it on the side and enjoying hearing my clients' progress. All of a sudden, I was one of the 17 that went to China. I was taken to China, and I spent a month there and got my advanced certification. I come back a month later, the world shut down in China. 2 months later, it shut down in North America. All of a sudden, I'm grounded. I'm not flying anywhere, and I gave it everything I had. 12, 14-hour days. Of course, it doesn't feel like work, as you know firsthand. When it's your passion and you got the time, you're gifted with that time. All of a sudden, when was I going to take 3 months off from flying to do this? And I gave it everything I had. And when my call came back to fly, I said, thank you, but no, thank you. I'm good. That was exactly 5 years ago. Again, a big download again, revisiting those emotions. That was exactly 5 years ago this month, and I haven't looked back. My colleagues thought, Meena, who does this? Like, you don't give up a 20-year flying career when you built your seniority, and it's a beautiful lifestyle. But I knew that I had a different calling. This is my calling, and I'm blessed to be here. Um, just it truly is just a blessing. The universe paved the way, and I walked it beautifully, and I plan to continue doing so.
Oh, what a lovely story. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. I think that it definitely gives such a great look at, who you are and why you do what you do, and that is just, that is definitely everything. Um I think it's really interesting the small introduction you gave us to how precise feng shui actually is, because as humans, we walk into a space and we feel a thing. And some people are a little bit more attuned to feeling something than others, I would say. But everybody can sort of get a feeling. We can't necessarily identify what it is, but behind the scenes, there are very exact measurements and precise, all of the work that you do is very, I guess, by the book. And I'm wondering a little bit about if you can kind of explain in layman terms to people how that works and why it makes us feel how we feel.
Okay. That's a part I love sharing. So again, thank you for asking that question. And the reason for my enthusiasm in that field is I am the only feng shui master that I know of that puts so much emphasis on first removing previous stagnant energy before we place the precisely calculated feng shui tools. Otherwise, it's like a band aid situation. Well,
Okay.
Meena did the calculations and she feels this is my wealth corner, and I will go get a water fountain from Amazon because she said we need water, and I'll plug it in and hopefully it works. Versus, let's remove the stagnant energy. I have energy clearing practice. We first reset the energy with a smoke ritual with my mantras. I guide my clients to sit during that time. Fast forward 6 months. Visualize. I teach feng shui vision board courses, so this little component is from that. Visualize 6 months from now, not tomorrow, not 5 years. Visualizing 6 months. You're waking up one morning. What does your ideal life look like? Embed that into the empty pockets that I'm creating while I'm removing stagnant energy. And I could write a couple of books on what my Zenergy chimes have picked up, even virtually, sitting here virtually around the world. Okay. Once that energy is reset, then we place the feng shui tools. I guide them on when to place it, what is the intention, what do they visualize every time they're walking by. The subconscious mind is very powerful. We think we're just going from point A to point B, from the kitchen to the bathroom, but the subconscious mind picks up everything along the way. And so when you're staying connected with the simple remedies that I prescribe, there's never any turtles, frogs, or snakes. It's just very much incorporated into the decor. Staying connected is the client's part. Those are the clients that see amazing results, or the ones that stay connected. I'm the guide. I do my part, and a lot of my client reviews have said Meena does a lot of hand holding. It's important. It's important. All I have to do is reply to them and keep them, on their path to manifest their desired life. So you see, it's very much a holistic practice, not just cut and dry. I've done the numbers. This is the reading. This is what you need to place. It's a lot more than that.
I love that. And I also am really impressed by the amount of involvement that you require from any client. Just I think my previous view is sort of similar to a designer where, like, you leave the house, you come back, it's different. And you're like, wow, cool. Look at this space. This works better. But, that kind of setting that you just put us in, it's actually sitting physically in the room and manifesting the things that you want this room to bring and how you want your life to look is just a very different experience than kind of just showing up and having someone, have changed the furniture around and tell you that, like, that's the key. I think that that's really amazing.
Yeah, just what came to mind when you shared that is we need more of these energy-based shows on HGTV, not just the before and afters, right? What
I
about
would
this?
love to.
How do we get there on this path, on this journey? You're right. It is. It's and you know that's the part I truly enjoy, and I always gauge it based from the questionnaire to discovery call to my in-person interactions or virtual interactions with the clients on where they're at and taking them from there to the next level. Everybody, we're all walking each other home. We're all at a different phase in our lives. So it's just my mission at that point is this is where they are. I just need them to be open and ready to receive. That's all I ask for. And this is why in the beginning of the consultation, I always say, whether it's in person or virtual, again, I always say this is very precisely calculated. No two houses are alike or businesses are alike. And I've done my part, but I do promise you one thing. I don't want you to get overwhelmed by looking at this study. We're going to go through it very slowly. And most importantly, we're going to have fun. They instantly lighten up. Because now they're ready to receive, and I keep the conversation simple. And that's Rachel. That's one thing I'd love to share is every day I truly feel my delivery is a blessing. My delivery is a blessing. English is not my first language. I didn't go to any Toastmasters or anything for this. These are not strategies that you go to school for. Strategy is good. Training is great. This is how I got this far. But the delivery of how easily I'm able to relate to each one of my clients at that point is just truly a blessing. I need them to stay connected. I need them to feel the energy, and it ends up being that way.
I think any effective practitioner in their fields can totally agree with that. You know, it's all about connection with the client, and it totally shows through when you have an extreme love for what you're doing, and it's such a passion. Quick interruption to let you know that one of our staple and most popular products is back, the Daydream Shorts. They are so versatile. You can do anything and everything from working out to just hanging out. And this year we added another length. You guys told us you wanted inseam options, and we gave it to you because you ask and you receive. So we've got two lengths this year of the Daydream Shorts. They are incredibly flattering, and of course, they have pockets. So get on our site, constantlyvariedgear.com, and get you some of the new Daydream Shorts. Speaking about clients that come to you, I'm wondering, out of curiosity, what is it that most people are seeking when they have a consultation with you? Is it money? Is it peace? Is it less stress? What are most people hoping to achieve out of their space?
A great question. I'll start by first of all sharing that in feng shui there are nine life sectors. There's nine areas. There's eight plus the center. Center being self-love, health, and gratitude. There's meditation, knowledge, and wisdom. Then there's family and community. Very important nowadays. Community sometimes is the family we select, so it's beautiful. Then there's wealth. Then there's fame, reputation, love and relationship. Then there's children, inner child. Then there's travel and helpful people, and then of course career and quality of life. Out of those nine that I just mentioned, a lot of the times people, when they moved into a space, it's been a year or two when they really start to notice a downhill pattern, or after, if life happenings happened while they were living there, or somebody else was living there before and they bought the house because that energy is still in the wall, ceiling, paint, carpet, and so on. Once they start to notice that, that's what they share with me on the discovery call. And then I have a very simple questionnaire. It's digital to complete, but I ask those questions because I need to know where I need to go above and beyond on their study. Most of the time, it starts with money. Okay, either inviting it in through career sector or retaining the savings through the wealth sector. Okay, a lot of times it's also relationships. Either they don't know what happened since they moved here, or something else, other life happenings happened, or they're just not able to manifest a quality relationship. Okay. Then when my clients are in their 40s or so, 30s, 40s, it could be about children concerns, and a lot of times, I'll just share this very briefly with you. A lot of times, it's a child's room over a garage. The garage is where we store things, where we also park the vehicles that attract all that energy from out there. It's a lot of metal energy. It's things we store that don't serve us, that we don't know what to do with, or they're broken, and energy rises upwards. Okay, so that just came to my mind to share. The other part is health. What is in the center of the home? Is it stairs? Is it powder rooms? What is being stored there under those stairs, things like that. So those are the four or five that are more common than the rest of the sectors: health,
Very interesting.
relationships, wealth, and career.
That's very interesting. I would say, the majority of people who are sort of seeking more can definitely relate to one of those categories. So I think that's really helpful. Um, I think, you know, what I want to portray here is that it's not necessarily incredibly expensive or incredibly mystical to incorporate some of these practices into your home. And I want to give you an opportunity to tell us, what is the most common mistake that people are maybe unknowingly making in their homes to contribute to feelings of stress or chaos?
If we had to start with one, it would be being weighed down, our energy, the home's energy, everybody else's energy in that space, being weighed down with the amount of things that are not serving us. Okay. So I know that the dreaded D word, decluttering, is it's quite commonly used. It overwhelms us just saying it, just thinking about it. And then it's like, well, where do I even start? First of all, we say start small, start with one drawer at a time. Don't tackle a whole room, because half hour into it, you'll pull out even more things than you were seeing before. You get overwhelmed. And again, I'm not a decluttering specialist. There's people that do that are great at it. I bring awareness to it.
Mm.
So let's just say that one space that I was talking about earlier, it's filled with 100% energy. Okay, let's say that 70% was heavy energy. If you freed up 20, 30, 40% of that by removing one thing within that drawer, that's something large, you've just now freed up space for the universe to give you more of what you're manifesting and desiring today, versus that item in your home taking up that space that's not only not serving you, but also weighing down your endeavors. It's really as simple as that. If we could just be mindful of that, if we cleaned out that one closet at a time, you just freed up what, 8% space in your room. 8% of, in the world of manifestation, is a lot, because that's what gets that momentum going. Right now it's stagnant, it's stuck. The key is to get that momentum going. As I said earlier, it's that energetic dance. Take that first step, free up some of the spaces. And one quick tip I want to give is anything with an electrical charge, whether it's old printer scanners, lamps, computers, radios, anything with an electrical charge that's not working. And a lot of us are guilty of that. We have old equipment that we don't use, but we haven't disposed of. It's double stagnation.
Wow. I I've always I am personally a person that has trouble working or surviving and living in a space that I feel is cluttered, and I've always been very mindful of that and and tried to, keep purchases down and keep spaces, decluttered. But I've never thought of it as a double-edged sword of like taking up valuable space and not allowing things to like it's weighing you down and it's not allowing new things to come in at the same time, which is like that's a different way than I've ever thought of it. Other like this is just an annoyance that like, oh, I put that on my to-do list, I'm going to get rid of that. But I've never thought of it as a way that I'm blocking new energy from coming in, essentially.
Yeah. And that's what I was saying before, that we only know what we know. See, there's so much more meaning behind it. And when it's simplified in bite-sized pieces like this, where it's very doable this weekend, start small, one thing at a time. And let's get that momentum going. Let's get that energy flowing. Right now it's stagnant. And then we go out and we'll hire somebody, or we'll do something, or we'll make a purchase to enhance the quality of our life, and then we're back to square one, thinking, well, things just aren't meant to be for me, or why aren't they working for me. I attempt to simplify it and removing the why as to what can we do, what's in our power, because all these things that we talked about, Rachel, everything is doable. All of these things are doable. Remove dead plants, remove any dishes that are cracked and broken. Those are cracks in relationships. Give your home open windows and blinds and curtains a lot of the times. Maybe not so much in Florida, but in on the West Coast, where it's gloomy and raining, and a lot of times we don't even open the blinds. And how is the energy supposed to serve us if we don't let it in?
That's so interesting. And I think that relating, what's going on in your life and saying, sort of wondering why things may be stagnant or not moving forward or not moving in the direction that you want. And then sort of looking around and seeing stagnant spaces. I think that's a really powerful connection to, just how much control you have truly over manifesting your life and what direction it's going in. And I want to give you an opportunity, to speak to people who may feel that, maintaining or creating this type of beautiful quote unquote home is either A, out of their price range, or B, an excessive amount of work. What do you say to people that have these concerns?
Start small.
Mhm.
Start small. If
Mhm.
they're listening to this podcast, your followers, if they stumble across feng shui somewhere else, that means the universe gave them a nudge. Energy gave them a nudge. Start small. As an example, first of all, as I mentioned before, I practice classical feng shui, so I'm the biggest advocate of where all these modalities started from, and paying respect to them and not diluting and simplifying them. For that purpose, I have my staff post content that I give them on Instagram, on Facebook, on YouTube, on LinkedIn. We have a website where I write blogs. We send out newsletters twice a month. It is my way of giving back. Okay. For every one person that asks, there are many, many others that wonder and that can benefit. Start small, follow somebody that you trust and have faith, and start to do those small things. It doesn't have to be an entire consultation. Do your part. Energy will either assist the person in manifesting their desires, therefore they can afford the consultation, or we always say the universe delivers sometimes in unexpected ways. This is part of my manifesting courses. Okay, we can we think we're in control, we've got our life figured out, but where's the trust and faith in that? It's important to manifest, to do our part, to take that time out. We say 5 minutes a day in the morning and 5 at night. That's really all it takes. but it's staying consistent, it's having faith, doing your part to enhance the quality of their life, incorporating what you do to guide them as well. Physical fitness is very important. It's all part of the package. It's all part of the package. Keeping our mind clear. There's a lot of distraction in the world right now and a lot of unsettled energy. And just yesterday, I was asked about that, and I said, well, first I've got to stay work on my being, on my own energy around me, and then we will see, what happens outside. It all starts on the inside.
Oh,
And
that's
that's
so
all in
true.
our control. That's really not that hard to do.
That's so true. And I think that, the message of consistency is certainly the one that we all know to be the key, but is a little bit harder sometimes in practice. But as you have mentioned, in different modalities such as fitness, when you get going truly in a routine, you start to crave fitness on a daily basis. If you have ever, I mean, we're running like a Miles in March program right now where we're having, ladies walk or run every single day to try to add up miles for a charity. And one of the things that we are hearing back consistently is that I, I didn't get to go for my walk today and I felt like horrible about it because like I've got this thing in where 5 days in a row I went for a walk and I was feeling so good and now I'm like there's something missing. And I think that the same thing is it works in your spaces and in your home. It's hard to develop that initial consistency, but once you do, keeping up with it
Mhm.
seems so worth it and needed to your mental health.
Yes, and that applies in many areas. I mean,
Mhm.
you explained it beautifully in the physical fitness that you're familiar with, and the same applies in all other areas of life too. I'll give you an example. As I mentioned before, I was a flight attendant for so many years, and in the back of my mind, it was always that thought of, I wish I could wake up in my own bed every day at the same time zone, and I could meditate. Okay, well, the universe delivered it. I mean, I didn't know how to manifest that. I'm sure I could have manifested it sooner, but divine timing. Having said that, I wake up now and I have my cup of tea, my Indian cup of tea, and then I sit at my meditation chair. I'm blessed with a beautiful home where I could see outside connect with the universe. And the days that I have to run out the door, I really miss it. I miss it. So very relatable to what you shared, and it becomes part of your life's journey. And the days that you don't get to live that, you definitely do. Once you're connected, you
Right.
definitely do miss it. Yeah.
I think that that's hopeful for anybody thinking about getting started but feels overwhelmed. If
Hmm.
you could snap your fingers and incorporate one aspect of feng shui into every home on earth right now, what would you choose?
One. Um,
All right, I'll give you two. I'll give you two.
Okay, okay, two good. First, like, as we talked about before, make space in your home. Make space for the universe to deliver. The universe is ready, have intention, have faith, but we've physically got to make the space. Secondly, invite beautiful, healthy, new energy. And that doesn't mean going to home sense or winners and buying $500 worth of stuff and redecorating. Sure, if that's what the heart desires, no problem. But I'm talking about live plants. I'm talking about just some new beautiful energy, maybe crystals, something that will enhance the energy in the home, therefore escalate, fast forward the manifestation process, the quality of life in the home, and just the beautiful flow of energy. Make space and then add on enhancers. Be mindful of the front door, by the way. That's where energy enters. So remove any old mats, especially after the winter season. It's almost over now. Remove any shovels or anything in most parts of North America. We have those sitting outside. Renew the energy in the entrance. We first have to invite it in through the front door, and then we work on distributing it throughout the house. Make space and embed beautiful energy and stay on that path.
Oh, I love, love, love that. And I will say to my people who, my plant killer people, listen, I was once you, and there are so many species of plants that are easygoing and don't require much from you, but can still give that great energy and that feeling of life and that beautiful greenery into your home. So I encourage people who consider themselves plant killers to go out and just start with a snake plant. It's
Oh,
doable.
beautiful. Beautiful. I'm so happy you shared that because I was just going to say that if there's one plant that they can get, it's a snake plant. It's also the only one we endorse in the bedroom as well for its serving properties. And it doesn't go crazy big, it stays in its shape, and it survives in low light. But if somebody's being called to do maybe three or four different types for variation, that are easy to thrive, but also feng shui friendly, we have a blog on my website that I wrote years ago on plants with pictures. We talk about them periodically on our social media too. There's four or five. There's a jade plant. There's the money plant. There's the bamboo that's easy to maintain as well, just in water. So, but most importantly, talk to them, connect with them. They're a living form of energy.
I love that. I
If
do
we
talk to my
focus
plant.
on, well, I'm not good with plants and they're just going to die anyways. Why would I? Sure, I'll put this in, but it's going to die anyways. Do you see, like the
Yeah.
kind of intention we're putting into it versus bringing it in with loving energy and saying, yeah, we're shifting the energy in this space. Thank you for assisting me with that.
Mine all have names. I've found that giving them names sort of gives them a personality and reminds me to love on them and care for them. And embarrassingly, my son knows all of their names and doesn't know the actual plants' names. So when he sees an aloe plant out in the wild, he says, "Oh, there's a Helga," and everybody's confused on why he's calling an aloe plant Helga.
It's your
Um,
little secret.
So you already know we make the best workout gear, but one of our best products, our highest rated product on our website is actually our collagen. If you have not heard about Glow Up by CVG, you are missing out. There is almost 700 five-star reviews on this product because it is such an amazing supplement. Actually, looking at it today, there are only 2 one-stars that were meant to be 5 stars. They love the product, they hit the wrong amount of stars. This is one of our most popular products for a reason. It dissolves like no other collagen. It's type 1 and 3. You're gonna have healthier skin, better joint mobility. Everything about this collagen makes it easy to put into your daily routine. So if you haven't tried Glow Up, get on cvg.com and make sure to add it to cart today. It's our best product. So, speaking on the front door, because I just want to come back to that for a second, because I know that that's a source of clutter for a lot of people. We are a shoes free home, and that area, sometimes inside and out, can sometimes just be the graveyard of shoes, and it just is when as soon as you walk in, you're just like, oh my god, I'm tripping over all this stuff. Do you have any suggestions for what it should look like, both coming into your home from the outside? There be plants? Like, what should that sort should it be totally clear? And then coming in, if you are a shoes free home, like, how do we manage that to not have it be so overwhelming?
Yeah. Again, we call it home for a reason. It is home. There's families that live in homes. Some are, empty nesters like me now. Some have young families. I've also raised three children in a home, so I can totally relate to all this. This is why I've created my practice to be realistic within North America. It's not just this is the way it's supposed to be, and if you don't follow it, you don't have a feng shui friendly home. No, we do our best. That's where intention comes in. We do our best within our surroundings and our life scenarios. Having said that, the front door, the more clear the path of energy entering, the more it's able to enter beautifully without getting stuck. So going back to shoes, we say regularly, once every few weeks, go through what's there. If it's seasonal, if it's not serving somebody, if somebody went for a hike but now it's winter and you're not going for a hike, remove those away. If the children have outgrown something, if they're in sports and they're not playing that sport now for a while, then remove those. There's beautiful cabinets that my clients get. They're like only literally like maybe 8 inches wide and or deep, and they fit on most walls and put the shoes in. But another thing that's coming to me to share, since you asked about the front door, Rachel, is a lot of the homes in North America don't use the front door. We use the garage door. We park in the garage door, and the kids and the families come through garage doors, which is totally fine, no problem. Again, my practice is all focusing on in North America, what is there, what are our surroundings, and how can we best incorporate and keep the energy, the feng shui energy flowing. Go out through your front door at least once a day, and if not, then few times a week, with intention, when you're calm and grounded, whether it's first thing in the morning or middle of the day if somebody's home, or whenever it may allow you, but the energy needs to be calm and grounded and not rush out and rush back in. Go out and stand outside your door, connect with the white light, connect with the universe, connect with whatever religious beliefs people might have, connect with that energy. Feel gratitude for what you have in life, for this beautiful blessing of the space. It could be an apartment, doesn't matter, no excuses. We're all blessed with a roof over our head. So connect with the energy, then come back in and invite that energy in. We have beautiful grand front doors in some of the homes, but if they're not used, it totally defies the purpose. If anything, in feng shui, if there's one thing I can explain, is simplifying it, is we either use it or we get rid of it. Everything has a purpose. So going back to the front door, we have beautiful entrances. Before we talk about what to place there and what to remove there, first and foremost, let's use it.
That's great advice. I totally agree with you that, you know, it's often not the entry point for a lot of homes. And that's a really I really loved the idea of in the morning with your coffee. We just did an episode on grounding, which is also like a really important opportunity. Maybe go out with your bare feet and just, go out your front door and like you said, just like pull in some of the great energy that you want to see in that day, and like let it in the front door. I'm definitely wanting to incorporate that practice. I think that's fantastic, and that is a good, you're calm, you're having your coffee, it's a moment of zen for a lot of people, so before the day gets crazy.
Yeah.
You mentioned raising three kids, and I did want to sort of give you an opportunity to talk a little bit about the importance of children being in a space that is serving them, and maybe some of the hurdles, I'll call them hurdles, with children and the amount of things that they have and the immense attachment they seem to have to 47 stuffies. How can you be possibly attached to all 47 of these? I ask my son every day. But how can we sort of make sure our children's spaces are both serving them health wise, and that they aren't prone to this behavior of holding on things that they truly aren't, that aren't serving them?
Yeah. So I'll start by an example of when I'm in clients' homes and when they have young children, but even teenagers. They will, most of my clients, the yin energy, it's a female, it's the mothers. And then we slowly turn the father around, and we let energy do its work. And I'm just speaking from experience, okay? I'm not on a mission to turn anybody around, but my experience has been. Having said that, a lot of times the mothers will be like, okay, we're in my daughter's room, she's 16 or she's 20, or, and we're sitting here, and or she's sitting there, and well, tell her this, Meena, and it's like, no, this is not how it works. We don't push this on anybody.
Hmm.
Then we're really using energy as a vehicle to just go from here to here. It doesn't work like that. We need to give it time and space to work. We need to set the intention. So, to answer your question about the children, and it's not something we expect to change in a day. It's not something we push on somebody. I always tell the female in the home at the time that I'm mostly conversing with is, we do our part. We
Right.
show by example.
Right.
And it won't change overnight, because how did they get this far? If we ourselves, as in this case the mother, was like that when that child was born, minimalist, a calm, grounding energy, only having serving things in the home, the children wouldn't have all those things. They wouldn't have accumulated all that, right? But that's okay. This is our journey. We don't push this on somebody. They're not 40 and 50 and 60. They're going through their life journey. We lead by example. We also have faith in the energy, and let it do its part. I honestly can write a few books if I was able to. Of course, I can't, because this is confidential client information, but of how 4 years, 5 years fast forward, of how much transformation I've seen in my clients' homes, of what they've shared with their children.
Wow. That's really powerful and I think very exciting. And I'm so glad that you brought up the we're not pushing this on anyone. We're leading by example. Um, an example of that for in my life is as I started to fill my home with plants that I could manage and not hopefully kill, and naming them. My son, of course, started to demand, well, I need a plant in my room. I need my own plant. I need to name it. I need to take care of it. And that is just a testament, I think, to the kind of example that you're speaking about setting is really just we are that. For kids of almost every age, we are that example. And watching us declutter, throwing out things that don't serve us, passing them on to, I always say, we're going to give these to kids who need them. That is really a modeled behavior that I think can make a giant difference. And I'm so glad that you brought that up. Thank you.
Yes, you're welcome. And it's just elaborating on it a little bit further is, when I say don't push it on somebody, can you imagine if you walked into, and it happens where, the mother is just, let's just say the mother in this case, so frustrated, walks in and the child's at school and empties half of their room, saying, enough with this. I've asked you 5 times. It's been 2 years, and this, we just need to lighten up because this is the way. Or let's just even take it to the next level and say, this is the feng shui way, and of course you're stuck because this is here. Can you imagine that child coming back, and how upset, and how, for lack of other words, rebellious he'll be or she'll be, to say you did this, and have be very upset, angry, and then probably end up hoarding even more in life, maybe in other shapes and forms, right? Versus, it's okay, this is their journey, let's start small. Like you say, give them a reason. We're going to give this to somebody because you've outgrown it, or you have two of this, and there's other children in the world that don't have this luxury. Therefore, let's donate it, let's do our part. I always say donation comes in many shapes and forms. Okay, I'll share an example with you that I've never shared with anybody on a podcast. So we downsized a couple of years ago, and being a flight attendant, I loved my shoe collection. Okay, collecting from around the world. And then, of course, we had all the free time when we were on layovers over there for 3, 4 days, like in Europe or somewhere else. And what do you do, women? We go shopping, right? So now we downsize. Plus, it wasn't so much downsizing, my lifestyle has changed. I'm more into holistic clothing. That's what grabs me now, and comfort and a total different lifestyle change, right? So when we were downsizing a year and a half ago, my husband was blown away with the amount of boxes of shoes he took. He was happy, of course, because we're downsizing. It was perfect, but the opportunity aligned itself where my lifestyle had changed, and now I also needed to downsize. So what I'm sharing is that there was not a part of me that felt, once that first couple of pairs were hard, I will admit, because there's so much story in the mind behind why we got it, when we got it, who were we with, where did we wear it, right? So most women can relate to these feelings. But I'm telling you, once that the first few were put in that box, it was so easy. And I can still remember the lighter feeling that came over me and has been with me just in that one example alone. So yeah, once we start to free up, create space, it's a beautiful feeling. Most of my clients share that afterwards too. But let's not force it on anybody. Let's, as you said, lead by example.
That's so powerful. It's not actually the realization that it isn't actually the physical thing. It's the feeling, the emotion, the memories, the all of that, but you get to keep that. The physical thing is not holding on to that for you, and then when it leaves, you lose it all, right? And I just think that that's a really good reminder to all of us who might have tendencies, and like you said, like, maybe these are sort of traumas inflicted on us. We grew up in the 70s and 80s, like our parents, we were drinking hose water and our parents were throwing out our stuff when we were at school. So maybe, some of these tendencies did not come from us. Maybe they came from, these feelings and these traumas, but that doesn't have to be how we live today.
Uh,
We are
And
in full
again,
control.
that feeling that we just talked about, that feeling of freedom, that feeling of being on the other side, we will only know it once we go through it. Otherwise, it's like, no, I can't do it. That's fine. They did it or she did it, but no, I can't do it. There's this is the reason, or that's the reason. Like you say, it's just maybe part of our upbringing. But we will only know that feeling of freedom once we've done it.
Oh, that's exciting. That is exciting. And with that, I want to give you an opportunity to share where our listeners can hear more from you. I know you mentioned you have a huge presence on socials where people can get free content. Where can our listeners learn more about you, about feng shui, and about clearing the energy in their space to make room for the good stuff?
Okay, well, let's start with clearing the energy. We have 6 ebooks that are free. It's on our website under resources. One of them is strictly on energy clearing. There, it's my way of giving back. On social media, we're big on Instagram. We cross post to Facebook. On Instagram, it's Feng Shui with Meena. And everywhere else is Momentum Feng Shui. We're on YouTube. We're increasing that presence more. Wherever people, when a person is ready to connect, they will find me.
I love
We're
that.
very easily accessible, and I keep it simple. I keep it interactive. Once they take that first step, it is so easy. Enroll in the newsletter. The feedback I get every 2 weeks is, Meena, thank you for this. I didn't realize, or this was so interesting. It's so, like I said, I keep it simple, but there are so many different ways to incorporate feng shui and balancing energy in their space. Remember, I may be called a feng shui master, but I'm equally an advocate of energy clearing. So I combine both.
Perfect. And, we've talked to our audience about curating what they see on social media and how it is, a reflection of the life that you want to create. And I can say from experience that your Instagram is a wonderful, wonderful place to be, and having it pop up in your feed and just giving you those, as you said, we don't know what we don't know. So just giving those little tidbits has been very helpful for me. And I love the content you're putting out. So I just want to thank you once again for being with us today. We will have all of the links in our show notes for our audience to easily access you. And again, thank you for bringing you've brought a lot of positive energy onto the show today, Meena.
Oh, thank you. I'm so grateful. I loved our energy exchange. And one of the things I will say to you and to your listeners, they just came to me right now, is a lot of times I say, I'm a message away. If anybody has any general questions, including yourself, Rachel, as I said, I loved our energy exchange. I feel that you're on a beautiful mission again to shift the energy in the world in your own way. So thank you for what you do, and thank you for this opportunity.
Love you, Meena. Get in touch with Meena. As she said, she's a message away, and follow her on socials. You're going to really enjoy what you learn. Thank you again.